The Australian and England cricket teams will arrive in Tasmania tonight ahead of Friday's historic fifth Ashes test. But the visitors will be without one of their biggest names. WIN sports journalist Brent Costello has the latest from Blunston Arena.
Australia and England have competed for the Ashes urn since the late 1800s. But to date, not one match from any of those famous series have been held here in Tasmania. Well, that's all set to change later this week when the fifth and final test is held right here at Blunston Arena. The fourth test went right down to the wire yesterday, with England hanging on for a draw despite being 9 wickets down in its second innings.
From where we were shows the amount of character and desire and pride that the guys feel when they pull on an England shirt, and I think that was a very important small step forward for this group.
But the visitors have been dealt a blow ahead of the final match of the series, with wicketkeeper Jos Buttler returning to the UK today with a fractured left index finger. There's better news for Ben Stokes and Johnny Bairstow. They've both travelled to Hobart with their injuries to be assessed over the coming days. There's no such problems for Australia. They're dealing with a different issue at the selection table, with Travis Head to return after being sidelined with COVID.
Thankfully, without symptoms, it was a refresher, I guess, and I can make sure I go into the last test ready to go and ready to perform.
After his brilliant start to the series, the batsman is expected to slot straight back in, but the man who took his place at number 5, Usman Khawaja, scored back-to-back centuries during the SCG test.
If someone comes out and hits twin hundreds, it's pretty hard to go past them for the week after, I think. So we'll work through that. The selectors will work through it over the next few days.
The unlucky player to miss out could be opener Marcus Harris.
There's huge energy within the group. I think you've seen that in the way he fields and the way he is around that field, and you can hear him over the stump marks and whatnot. And what the energy that he brings on the field, it's exactly the same off the field, and he's calm, consistent.
The excitement here at Hobart is definitely building ahead of the historic clash. The banners are up in the street, with play to begin at 3 o'clock on Friday. Brent Costello, WIN News.
Cricket first tonight, and Blunston Arena's head curator says the pitch for Friday's fifth Ashes test will have something in it for everyone. The ground's in tip-top condition ahead of the historic clash, despite copping heavy rain last week.
Things are starting to take shape at Blunston Arena as the venue gets ready to host the most important match in its rich history.
We're here today preparing for the biggest sporting event Tasmania has ever seen.
I think we need to put on a good show. We've done that to date. Some people said that there was no interest in Test cricket in Hobart.
But fans have voted with their feet. Today, Cricket Tasmania released an extra 500 tickets for each of the first 3 days, and despite COVID presenting its challenges, more than 30,000 fans are expected to attend the match across Friday, Saturday and Sunday.
On the day, I think other games have been affected with some people not turning up, but all I can say is we've sold the tickets. We'll see on the day. Despite advocating so strongly for Tasmania to host an historic Ashes test, it's understood former Australia captain Tim Payne won't be in attendance. A bit bittersweet with Tim. We've made our position very clear in the past on that. I haven't changed my mind on that. I don't think I want to say any more about it. We've made our position crystal clear. It's a shame that he can't be here.
The Australian cricket team arrived in Tasmania last night, with some squad members, including captain Pat Cummins, spending part of the day walking the streets of Hobart.
The English showed they've got a lot of fight after last test. I think they've got their mojo back. This is a ground which might suit them. I think we're in for a very close tussle.
But it won't just be the players that are under pressure come Friday. Blunston Arena curator Marcus Pamplin is charged with the task of producing a top-notch cricket wicket.
There is a bit of pressure, yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
He says the strip will be similar to a traditional Sheffield Shield wicket.
Especially first day, there'll be a bit in it. And then it should, some period in the game, it'll flatten out to a good batting pitch.
Cricket Tasmania says there was no panic following last week's heavy rain event, despite the ground looking like this.
Within 30 minutes of those pictures being taken, it pretty much looked like it does now.
The fifth Ashes test begins at 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon. Brent Costello, WIN News.
The Aussies will begin their first training session at Blunston Arena in around 15 minutes ahead of Friday's fifth and final Ashes test against the Poms. The visitors took to the nets this afternoon with star players Ben Stokes and Johnny Bairstow looking to prove their fitness ahead of the clash.
Ashes fever is building in Tasmania and nobody wants to miss out on the action.
It's the pink ball too, so yeah, I'd very much like to play. I guess it's in the hands of the selectors, but I won't be asking for a rest.
While Stark is ready to go, it's unclear how Scott Boland has pulled up from a rib injury sustained at the SCG.
He's a quiet character, but quite a resilient one, so no doubt he'll be looking forward to taking part in this test as well.
As for how the team's batting lineup will take shape,
I'm not a selector.
The Aussies will train at Blunston Arena tonight after enjoying some time off to recharge their batteries.
Yeah, it's been nice to be down here. It was a lovely day yesterday. The weather was fantastic, and had a little look at Lark, which was great for a couple of us whiskey connoisseurs, if you like, led by Paddy Cummins.
Meanwhile, England will be forced to make at least one change to its starting 11 after wicketkeeper Joss Buttler flew home after the Sydney test with a broken finger.
Ultimately, we'll have to weigh everything up, make sure that we feel that we've got 11 players that are going to be able to manage the game and give ourselves the best chance of winning.
The Poms come to Hobart full of confidence after hanging on for a draw earlier this week.
Off the back of 3 very difficult games where we've underperformed, not shown the best of our skills and our performance as a team, to come back and get something from that game. Showed a great amount of character. It's
been revealed that former Australia captain and proud Tasmanian Tim Payne won't be attending the test match.
Standing on Tim Payne's home ground, Joe, are you disappointed for him that he won't be out here for a game he pushed for so hard?
Yeah, look, I've not had the opportunity to speak to Tim. I hope he's doing okay, and I hope that things are moving on in his situation. Of course, disappointing for him and I suppose for all Hobart fans and Tasmania fans.
Hopefully Payne's doing well and his family doing well, and hopefully we can put a show on for him.
The 5th and final test begins at 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon.
Hopefully it's a fantastic week, obviously for Hobart, but hopefully we can put on a show for the crowd and obviously finish with an Australian win would be fantastic.
Brent Costello, WIN News.
The stage is set for Tasmania's historic Ashes test, with the first ball now less than 24 hours away. Final touches were being made to Blunston Arena today as the venue prepares for an influx of more than 30,000 people across the opening 3 days of the match.
The Australian and English cricket teams have been in Tasmania since Monday.
Yeah, I love going for a walk down to Salamanca, even wearing the hoodie. We're normally thongs and shorts, so it's something a bit different, but it's really nice that people are lovely here.
COVID restrictions have prevented the team from doing too much indoors.
Once Trav had tested positive, it was going to be a fantastic effort to get through the series, and we're here. We've been tested just about every day for the last 20 days.
But Premier Peter Gutwin, who pushed hard to host the 5th test, has reiterated that it's safe for the match to proceed.
Capacity's at 75%. It's a seated event. It's a masked event. The vast majority, in fact, I would expect almost all people at the ground will be fully vaccinated.
From the 13 test matches it's hosted, Bellerive Oval has seen plenty of magical moments. None more so than Justin Langer and Adam Gilchrist's incredible run chase against Pakistan in 1999. It's hoped Tasmania's first Ashes test can provide a storyline just as memorable.
It's one of the 6 states. A lot of proud Tasmanians have not only played but captained Australia, so it's great we get a test match down here.
Tasmania won't have a representative on the field for this historic occasion, but the state is punching above its weight off the pitch. David Boone will be the ICC's match referee, and 2 locals will be in the scorer's box. Nathan Bester will be keeping tally of runs, wickets and overs bowled in a test match for the very first time. He's waited 24 years for the opportunity, starting in 1998 as a 13-year-old.
It means a hell of a lot, especially with the circumstances that's come about to get this test match, and to make your debut in a test match like this is incredibly special.
But a big match comes with enormous pressure.
We're just ready to go, and whatever situation we're dealt with, we'll just deal with it on the day.
It's hoped play will start on time tomorrow, with showers to develop in the afternoon and into the evening.
They're more convective type showers, so you do tend to see breaks between them, so hopefully it doesn't affect play too much.
Conditions will be humid on Saturday with a slight chance of a thunderstorm.
I'm cooling down a little bit in the following days, but temperatures generally into the mid-teens up towards 20 into those early evening times.
On the bright side, there's currently no wet weather forecast for Monday or Tuesday. Brent Costello, WIN News.
Marcus Harris has been dropped from the Australian cricket team ahead of tomorrow's fifth and final Ashes test at Blunston Arena. With Travis Head returning to the lineup, Usman Khawaja will become the team's new opener, while the paceman was forced to undergo an 11th hour fitness test at training.
Battling a rib injury sustained during the Sydney Test, Scott Boland was put through his paces in the Blunston Arena nets this afternoon. He didn't encounter any issues and is considered fit to play subject to a final assessment tomorrow morning.
If he's not in line, Jai, Michael Nesta are both fit.
After compiling 180 runs at an average of 30, Marcus Harris is the hard luck story of the fifth test.
This is probably more a case of someone demanding a spot as opposed to, Marcus losing a spot.
With the returning Travis Head slotting back in at number 5, Harris has been replaced by Usman Khawaja as the team's opener.
I think he knew it was coming. The message to Harry is we think he's going really well. It's really tough on him. It's not too often that someone comes in and hits 200s in the same game.
The skipper is also throwing his support behind Alex Carey after the wicketkeeper dropped a number of chances at the SCG.
Keeping it's first series, it's tough. He's working really hard. We're super confident in him.
Cummins got a first-hand look at a green Bellerive pitch this afternoon and says he's unsure what to expect.
Hopefully a bit of seam, bit of swing. I think it's going to be a little bit humid as well. Every pink ball feels like there's always a lot of unknowns coming into it, and probably more so here, not knowing the venue.
This game will wrap up what's been a busy month for both teams.
Everyone's tracking really well, actually. At the end of a 5-match series, there's always some tired bodies, some people ready to get home, but everyone's been fantastic.
The fifth test begins at 3 tomorrow afternoon. Brent Costello, WIN News.
History was made at Blunston Arena this afternoon after months of build-up, a rain delay and the threat of COVID looming. Tasmania's first ever Ashes test match is finally officially underway, with England winning the toss and electing to bowl against Australia. Soaking up all the action is WIN Sports reporter Brent Costello. And Brent, it really is a momentous day.
It sure is, Link. Of course, the Ashes began in the late 1800s, but despite producing 18 international red ball cricketers, including 2 Australian captains, remarkably Tasmania has never hosted a test match between Australia and England. That was, of course, until this afternoon when the first ball was bowled here at Blunston Arena in what's being described as the biggest sporting event we've ever hosted.
Oh, he lets it go. They like it from behind. Stuart Broad.
Day one of any test match is prime viewing, but probably day one of an Ashes test match in Tasmania, it's really history being made, and we're now going to be part of history in what's the world's greatest sporting rivalry.
Now, of course, it didn't take long for tickets to be snapped up to this historic event. I caught up with some very excited fans on their way into the ground this afternoon.
Extremely excited. Like, it's going to be a one-off in Hobart. I can't see it ever happening again for the Ashes, so had to be here for it.
It's actually the first time I've actually come to see a cricket match, so it's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
You've got the nails all done up, ready to go?
Yes, I have. Thought it'd be cool to show a bit of sport.
Oh, it's great to have an Ashes down here finally in Hobart.
Typically, an international team wouldn't have too much support in another country. England, of course, is the exception, with the famous Barmy Army in town. Can you win this test match, sir?
Oh, I think we've got to. We've been absolutely smashed the last 4, so law of averages, I think we're going to get a win.
There's plenty of excitement in the air, and despite COVID running freely here in Tasmania, there's no hesitation from fans about attending the event.
We've done everything we can. We're all vaxxed and boosted and everything else, and obviously we're wearing masks, so doing everything we can to stay safe.
Yes, only time will tell if this does in fact become a super spreader event. Inside the arena, it was an emotional pre-game ceremony with players, officials and fans pausing to remember the young lives lost in the Hillcrest Primary School tragedy. Palawa elder Auntie Brenda Hodge and emerging leader Taylor Wigg then delivered the welcome to country.
Welcome to all of you here on our land.
It was then time for the national anthems. First, England's. Before Australia's was performed by Eloise Martin and the Qantas Choir. Then all was in readiness for the moment everyone had been waiting for, the historic first delivery. Well, that's it for the moment here at Blunston Arena. I'll be back in sport with the first session highlights, but for now it's back to you, Link.
Australia is off to a rocky start in the fifth Ashes test against England at Blunston Arena. Sent into bat on a very green wicket, the home team was put under instant pressure, losing 3 key batters in the first hour of play.
England won the toss and elected to bowl first on a Blunston Arena green top. After a 30-minute rain delay, history was made as both teams entered the playing field. And it was a slippery start for Stuart Broad as he delivered an abnormal first ball of the match.
Oh, and Stuart Broad.
Batting wasn't easy. It was a patient start for David Warner and opening partner Usman Khawaja, with only 3 runs scored in the opening 5 overs. Then the breakthrough.
Edged. Gone. It's a long drawn-out duck. England celebrate Warner.
Robinson with the big scalp. That brought the world's best test batsman to the crease, and he was handed a lifeline on 0.
Edge. Oh no, Crawley went across in front of Root.
Khawaja wasn't as lucky, edging to slip shortly after.
Edge. Gone this time, the England captain. No worries, Joe.
The Aussies in trouble at 2 for 7. Labuschagne scored the first boundary of the match, but the wickets kept tumbling. Steve Smith out for a duck.
Oh, taken as 3 in the first hour for England.
The tourists on top early on the opening day. Brent Costello, WIN News.
Tasmania's first Ashes test has been deemed a huge success, with Australia wrapping up the final match of the 5-game series inside 3 days at Blunston Arena overnight. The team spent the day celebrating its dominant 146-run win over England at one of our state's most iconic locations. WIN's Brent Costello was there to soak it all up.
The day after the night before, and the famous Ashes trophy has found its way to Mona. The squad arriving by ferry this afternoon as celebrations continued at Tasmania's famous museum.
Woke up this morning on an absolute high. It's been amazing, amazing 5-6 weeks, and last night's session doesn't get much better than that.
Australia's victory was brought up in the most dominant fashion, England losing 10 wickets for just 56 runs.
Australia win in Hobart, they win the 5th test, and more importantly, they win this Ashes series 4-0.
It's quite evident that Australia are, at this moment in time, a better team than we are in all areas. And it hurts me to say that.
In a classy moment from the team's captain, the popping of champagne during the post-match celebration was paused to allow Usman Khawaja to take part in the team photo. The batter, who is Muslim, doesn't drink alcohol and had left the stage.
The boys are fantastic in that space. They always look after each other.
While there was plenty to celebrate overnight, there was also a tinge of sadness for Tasmanian fans, with former Australia captain Tim Payne denied the opportunity of lifting the Ashes trophy in front of his home crowd.
Payne is a really tight mate with a lot of the boys here, so we missed him last night.
In a post on social media, Payne's brother Nick said it was pretty hard to watch, knowing one of the key people in resurrecting the reputation of Cricket Australia, and the team was shafted because of a personal mistake he made nearly 4 years ago, describing it as double standards and gut-wrenching stuff.
Nick's obviously a family member, so he's going to be pretty close to the action, and as I say, we've made our position clear. It's disappointing that Tim wasn't here.
These green and gold streamers are all that's left of last night's celebrations here at Blunston Arena, but the memories created over the 3 days of the test match will be forever etched in the memories of Tasmanian cricket fans.
Walking around Hobart, you felt the love and felt the buzz around. We absolutely love playing down here.
A total of 25,801 people attended the test match, but due to a problem with entry scanners,
it may well be that the official crowd is a couple of thousand more than what has been reported to date.
Brent Costello, WIN News.
The Australian cricket team's first day of Ashes celebrations went well into the night, with the team partying at a famous Hobart watering hole. Footage has also emerged of Tasmania Police being called to the players' hotel just hours after the home team's dominant win. Brent Costello has the details.
After the squad started its celebrations at Mona yesterday, the party continued here at Hobart's famous Customs House last night.
We are the champions, my friend.
Members of the Barmy Army were also at the venue. At one stage it was suggested Lions should sing under the Southern Cross. But it was quickly shut down by captain Pat Cummins. Instead, the team turned to some Aussie anthems.
Are you really disappearing? Just another dying race. Hey, true blue.
And a Neil Diamond classic. It's been a big few days for the team. Police were called to the Crown Plaza just after 6 a.m. yesterday after reports were made of intoxicated people in a function area.
We got Nathan Lyon, Carrie, Anderson. Just video this just for the lawyers.
They all left the area when asked, and no further action will be taken by Tasmania Police.
See you in the morning, everyone.
The Director of Public Health says he's not aware of any new cases of COVID-19 being attributed to the cricket.
A good proportion of people wore masks. They were asked to be vaccinated before they attended. It wasn't an unduly packed event.
Today, Cricket Australia announced the Hobart Test boasted an average TV audience of 1.43 million people across its 3-day duration.
You know, I think what it's done is actually opened the eyes of the world to Tasmania.
Brent Costello, WIN News.